Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you haven't been here before, I'm Ken.
And I'm Pam.
And we're the RoadSMITHS. So after a great 2021 traveling up through Michigan, out to Maine, down the East Coast, it was time we needed to find a place to winter for a bit. A lot of people go to Arizona. A lot of people go to Florida. We're from Texas, so we decided we were going to stay close by in Texas, but get a little bit further south, just so we weren't so cold.
Yeah, well, we wanted to stay within an easy drive to Dallas-Fort Worth so that we could go back and forth to visit our kids and grandkids maybe a couple of times, which we did.
Yeah, so Rockport, Texas is about 7-hour drives back to the DFW area. And quite frankly, we hadn't really been there before. And just a lot to do, very quaint town, surrounded by water, lots of things to do. The weather wasn't so great, but you'll see that in some of the video. So stay tuned and we'll show you all about Rockport, Texas. One of the really cool features around the Corpus Christi South Padre area is just how much free beach access that you have and to the water. Now, the coast is pretty rugged, as you'll see in the video, but people were camping and RVs. We did not do that, but just the access to the waterways is outstanding. Got a career in the NBA. You're all right. The weather's cleared, and we're at Padre Island National Seashore. What did you call it before? Pins?
Pins.
Did you make that up, or is it?
No, that's what the locals call it.
Oh, are we locals now?
No.
We've been here for a couple of weeks, so
we've been here for a month.
Like we're
maybe
locals.
we qualify as locals.
I don't know. I may have to change our driver's license. Where are you going?
Going to the water.
Oh boy, this is where it all goes wrong right here. Anyway.
Burr. It's a little too chilly for me.
What'd you find? Anything good?
Some broken seashells. The water's actually really clear.
Did you go in it?
No, I went to the edge of it.
Oh, okay. All right.
So one thing that Rockport has an abundance of are RV resorts. We stayed at Coastal Breeze, which is located on Salt Lake, adjacent to Capano Bay. They have a fantastic fishing pier, which also has a kayak and paddleboard launch, which is really pretty cool. They have fantastic flat, large concrete pads. And in addition, they have beautiful facilities. There are 2 swimming pools, although they're not heated right now. They will be next year. And a great little clubhouse where they have scheduled activities for you to participate in. But we did tour the area and checked out some of the other places, and for sure there's plenty to choose from in Rockport.
Of course, Corpus and the surrounding area of Rockport, South Padre Island are just surrounded by water. Gulf of Mexico on one side and several bays on the other side. And so we want to do a couple other things that were water related. So one thing we did do was go to the USS Lexington. That's a World War II class aircraft carrier, Essex class, which is similar to the Yorktown that we saw in Charleston. And we'll post a link to a video up here. And it's just amazing. We got to tour the whole aircraft carrier, from the bridge to the flight deck, down to the elevators, down even to the engine room. Just amazing stuff. The history of the Lexington is pretty rich, and it was involved in several key battles in World War II, and was actually struck by a kamikaze where a number of sailors were killed and injured at that time. highway coming out of Corpus Christi, right back there. I think that's Highway 35. It really doesn't look that big until you walk up to. Oh yeah, until you walk up here. I think what they said it was the length of 3 football fields. So for those of you sharp in math, leave a quick comment down below on how many feet that actually is. I'll have to think about that for a while.
I know how many yards it is.
Yeah. So we're not sure if this was actually his aircraft, but the captain or the lieutenant, I guess at the time, the pilot of this particular aircraft, this Avenger, was none other than George Herbert Walker Bush. Again, don't know if this was his official plane, but it's got his name up on the captain area, pilot area, flight deck, whatever they call it. Cool stuff. All right, going to the flight deck. Am I hired? No planes moved. What happened? Emergency. There's an emergency.
Now hear this. This 5-inch 38 caliber 20 close gun mount is near identical to the mounts originally fitted on USS Lexington during World War II. A crew of 11 men.
You get a chance to fire one this time.
Operated
Fire the guns.
That included the mount captain, the pointer, and the trainer. All working in sitting positions and trained warriors who've been loading and firing the guns every 3 to 4 seconds, 15 to 20 rounds per minute during battle action lasting several minutes.
We have 4 5-inch guns.
So that's what happened in here. And just to think, I've lost my hearing from playing drums, not from being in the Navy. I don't know what it is, but Pam seems to have an affinity to guns. But maybe not those guns, but maybe these guns. She's always checking out cannons, and I can't understand that.
Number 4, shaft, unlock and standing by for any maneuvering bells. Aye, aye. Aye, aye. Indicating turns for 15 knots. Aye, aye. Number 4, turning 108 RPM for answering standard bell. All stop. The chief is here.
Hi, and welcome to Lexington's aft engine room.
I didn't realize that lunch was included in this tour, so I'll have 2 slices of the turkey, some of the ham, and some got olives too. They even got some olives.
And
I'm not sure what the white stuff is.
It's whipped potatoes.
Oh, it's whipped potatoes. Man, that actually looks pretty good. I just think that stuff's been there for like 20 years. So you've seen Pam give me haircuts in the campground, and yeah. So I think I'm just going to step up here and get me a Navy haircut, which may be a little bit shorter than I actually bargained for, but it can probably use a little bit of tightening up here. What do you think? Probably couldn't read that, but what it basically said is that in 1944 off of Luzon, the Japanese obviously were feeling they could not win the war, so they went into more desperate measures and started launching kamikaze attacks. This ship was actually hit by a kamikaze on that date in November 1944, and 47 men were killed as a result of that. So obviously desperate measures, desperate times from the Japanese, and didn't have to end that way, did not have to end that way. And here's actually a list of the names of the men. And then wounded, several, just over 100 wounded as well. So, gentlemen, we salute you, and thank you for your service. And again, it did not have to end that way, certainly. Excuse me. Excuse me. Captain? Captain? Captain. Captain's sleeping. Yeah, he's sleeping on the job. Oh, okay. Pam's touching. Wait, hang on. Pam's touching. She's touching stuff. I think we're moving. I think we're moving. God, I cannot believe how small the bridge really is. Wow. The movies always make it look so much bigger. I don't understand that. Speaking of movies, Pearl Harbor, part of Pearl Harbor was actually shot on this ship, and we'll have to find the spots in which they actually did that. Of course, they try to make it look like the USS Hornet, I guess, which was more of a class of that era. Although this was an Essex class, so it was of that era, but actually a lot smaller than I thought it was.
Oh yeah, where the chain. Well, when we.
All right. Well, I'm going to be serious for just a second here. This is. I know that's hard to believe, but yes, I am. This is very humbling and very impressive. To think that, you know, men fighting in World War II against Japanese warships and Japanese planes sat in this chair and commanded. You know, the ship, and we'll go to the top where usually the flag admiral would have sat, but this is just amazing. I just can imagine what happened here in the 1940s and subsequent wars as well, but specifically World War II, and just the action here. But just humbled and appreciative of our servicemen and women in what they go through, and certainly that generation we know is the greatest generation, could very well be, but thank you for your service, and thank you for what you endured and what you did for this country. Another thing I got a chance to go do was go visit the Texas Maritime Museum, which is right in downtown Rockport. And that museum basically details sort of life on the Gulf Coast of Texas, starting from the pirate years all the way through to Texas Navy. And it also details a lot of the recreational and commercial fishing in the area, when you see a lot of the shrimp boats that come in right in that area. And of course the big one is commercial transport and oil and gas, and it just details sort of that all about history. So it was really, really fascinating and very, very inexpensive to do. Whenever you go to a new area, you're just not really sure how the restaurants are going to be. We were actually really, really surprised and impressed with a lot of the restaurants that we went to. We tried about 6 of them, anywhere from Mexican food to just a bar. Went to an Irish bar called Fulton's Bar and Grill. Our favorite was probably a place called Pier 77. It was just a little hole-in-the-wall place on the side of the road. Great seafood, and we actually liked it so much we went back there 3 times. The servings were enormous, the food was great, the service was great. So just really, really impressed with the restaurants in the Rockport area. All right, we're down in the fishing town. I told you it was fishy. I told you. It doesn't stink, but it's a fishy town of Fulton. And this is where a lot of the shrimp boats come in, at least in this town. I know there's shrimp boats in Rockport. We'll maybe go see those as well. And this is a restaurant called Charlotte's Plumber. I'm not sure he's a plumber, but apparently he serves good food, and it's actually really crowded. Yeah, it's funny, as you travel, you always we tend to kind of go toward the bigger cities and beaches and mountains and stuff like that, but you sort of just sometimes you drive past these small towns. And the fact that we had a chance to stay here for a couple of weeks, actually really for 2 months in the whole Rockport area, you don't appreciate until you actually kind of immerse yourself and spend some time. So Rockport's definitely got a great culture, great town. It's kind of a small town, yet you're close to things like Corpus Christi, and just got a lot of stuff to do. And we had to wait till the wind stopped blowing at 35 to 40 miles an hour before we started doing some of that stuff. So I'm glad we're actually getting out and doing that now. So that's kind of the town of Rockport, man. What do you think?
Is this actually the town of Rockport? Or is this just...
I'm sorry, this is Fulton. Let me take that back. So this is actually the town of Fulton. So you've pretty much seen it. Yeah,
this
that's
is more just like a marina.
Yeah, kind of a marina. But there's actually some really good restaurants. There's Charlotte's Plumber, not Plumbers, but a restaurant. There's Fulton Irish Pub we went to that time. There's a little Italian place down here. There's a place that's kind of a sports bar. We'll go get a little video of that sports bar.
There's that Chinese
place, but it's part of that. Yeah, it's called
Hung Low.
Thank you very much.
Who dat? My bad.
Who dat hung low?
Who dat? Not hung low.
Who dat hung low?
My bad. How can I get those confused?
Well, then you have the other one here, which is
smells so good.
Minutes later, she's still pumping.
It hasn't even gotten down to the. It has yellow, green, and red.
I think there's a slow leak somewhere.
It hasn't even gotten into the yellow.
But you notice who's pumping and who's videoing. This is her and this is hers. It's her paddleboard, so she gets to pump and I get to video.
Why is it at least in the yellow?
I don't know about that. Like the shorts you have on. All in all, we did like the Rockport area a lot. Proximity to restaurants, proximity to grocery stores, just a lot of conveniences. The weather, as we sort of detailed, was a little bit rough at times, and it wasn't so much the cold. While we did have some of that, it really was just the wind, and unfortunately, that's the way it is in the Texas coast. Really did like Coastal Breeze Resort. Big shout out to them. Very big sites, all concreted. Some had patios, beautiful pool area, lots of activities, and being right there on Salt Lake near Capano Bay was really, really very nice. Would we winter there again? I'm not sure. Costs were very reasonable at that particular resort. Understand costs are probably going to go up, but we did we did enjoy our stay, and it served the purpose as we moved on to the next location. So if you like our videos, please consider subscribing, give us a like, and then hit that bell so you can be notified of new videos coming up. We'll see you next time. Man, you're moving, you're not even paddling. Should I call the Coast Guard now?
Coming up next on The Roadsmiths.